Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Quantum Health Connection podcast. I'm your host, Vanessa Baldwin, with my amazing co-host, Heather Nielsen. And today we're going to talk about flower essences. We're both so excited to talk with you about this topic. We're going to talk about what they are, how you can use them. We'll talk about a few clutch ones that you could use in your, day-to-day life. And yeah, I've been using flower essences and I really, really love them. They're so delicate, but they can make subtle shifts. And I find they work on like deeper patterns, like long-standing patterns that you have on the emotional level. And of course, we know if we can shift the emotional terrain, we shift the physical terrain, right? So that's my thoughts there, is why they can shift all things, right? But of course, it's all connected, right? And they're really fun, and I'm really enjoying using them in my practice and on myself and with my family, and seeing them make these little shifts, which are really fun. So,
Absolutely, Vanessa. That's, I think of the quintessential energy medicine that encompasses beauty. And
mm,
this is what it is, which
yeah.
beauty is so important for me. And just that it's something that is so nourishing, so uplifting, and so gentle because
Hmm.
flower essences, not to be confused with essential oils or anything like that, but that have the energetic imprint of the flowers are just so powerful and gentle and it's really basically helping us align with who we're meant to be and clearing out
Mm,
the emotional energetic blocks that are preventing us from being able to be in flow with our authentic selves. So, yeah,
yeah.
it's pretty
Yeah, that's so
powerful.
beautiful. Yeah, they're subtle and powerful, right? And the ones that I've been experimenting with so far are the Bach flower essences. We'll talk about Bach. And there are other ones. There's the Australian bush and there's other ones, but I haven't really delved into those at all. I've just been using the Bach, and yeah, I think there's 30 or some odd of them, and that, they're pretty extensive and they work. There's a flower essence for just about all kinds of things you can think of emotionally, right? Within that. And I also think it's kind of nice to, use where you're from, kind of, if that's possible too, if
Mhm.
it aligns, like if that works out, that can be pretty cool too. Like, and you'll align to it. I'll explain a little bit about the one I'm taking right now. Is one of them is pine, right? And pine is good for feelings of guilt, right? That's what pine is used for. But you'll be drawn to it, right? Like I'm drawn to pine trees. I love the smell of pine trees. I love the smell of pine. Like you'll be drawn to it because you're resonant with it, and it has a healing property for you, even not only in essence, but in general, to be in that presence of that essence or that flower. Or this one happens to be a tree. It could be a tree blend, right? It could be a tree flower essence. Um, yeah, and willow is another one that I'm on. Is actually for old feelings of like stuck resentment and rigidity in the body. There's like resentment causing rigidity in the body, basically, like cellular rigidity, possibly from like resentment that's been built up. But in a person, and willow trees are literally my favorite tree. Every time, like, my dream, like, one of my things that I want when I get older is to have a willow tree with a swing underneath it. Like, I love to sit in willow trees. I love to be under the willow tree. I don't know, there's something about it. So I'm very drawn to it. And I wouldn't have probably picked willow for me, even though I love the willow trees. I felt like I'm not resentful. Like there may be, but there's probably this suppression in me, I think, of that, maybe possibly because I'm also taking a course on astrology, and I'll just put this one little tidbit in here about it. I'm taking a course with Liz Norman on astrology for homeopaths, and I happen to be a Libra rising. And Libra rising, or Libra people, it's very strong in me. They have a tendency to always want harmony and balance, so they don't like contradiction. And that is me. Like that is true. So maybe it's there and it's repressed. I haven't seen anything come up, but I have felt lighter from taking it, and just a lot less rigidity in more spontaneity in my life by taking this tree blend that I'm taking, which has more than that. It also has oak and elm and red chestnut, which we can talk about all those if you guys want. But it's like I've felt more spontaneity and less rigidity in my life, which was interesting. So, yeah.
Wow, that's
Yeah.
so profound and so beautiful for
Yeah.
you. I also, two of my favorite scents. I mean, I'm definitely a scent person, let me tell you, but two
Mm.
of my favorites are the pine. So the pine trees when they're in baking in the sun, and then that beautiful resinous, just earthiness emanates from the pine trees. I literally just stand there and bathe in
Right.
that. It's
Me too.
amazing. So, and then rose. So rose is another one of my
Mm.
favorites. Of course, that's very popular, but I walk through the by the rose bushes and I have to smell and see if they, some of them don't smell. And I'm like, oh. But I know it's not just about the odor. This flower essences again are not about the essential oil. It's about
Right.
the energy of the plant. Katie Hess of Lotus Ways, she's an amazing flower essence master practitioner. She has a whole company with different flower essences and so forth, but she combines them with
Yeah.
essential oils. She wrote in her book that flowers are psychic, and I think that all plants are psychic probably, but I just thought that was amazing the way she framed that, because we're going to be drawn, the plants are literally calling us into the exact vibrational energy that we need in order to shift stuck patterns of emotional, rigidity that are blocking us from
Yeah.
encompassing more of who we are in our soul. So I just love that, the way she described that.
Mm. No, that was so beautiful. And, Edward Bach, who we'll talk about, who, is the founder of flower essences. And it's funny because before he worked in with flower essences, the Bach flower essences, he worked in stool and the gut microbiome. I don't know if you know this, Heather. Do you know this? He
Yeah,
actually,
yeah, yeah.
he was the founder of the bowel nosode. So he was one of the first people to actually make a correlation between the gut microbiome and the mental emotional and how it actually is, if certain gut bacteria would inform the way the person was on the mental emotional. So he made that connection, which was so
That's pretty
interesting.
huge, actually. I don't think he gets
Yeah,
any credit for that. That's
I don't know, but he should. But he was also extremely sensitive and extremely intuitive.
mm-hmm.
So he was actually like able to intuitively know the healing properties because flower essences aren't done like with provings like homeopathy, where they actually someone takes the substance and they like prove the substance because there's no aggravations with flower essences. There's no provings. There's none of that. But he intuitively like could feel into the plant's energy and vibration and can figure out its healing properties, which was like it's like next level stuff, really, honestly. But yeah, it's very quantum, I would say. But
It
yeah,
is, yeah.
that's where
He
it
would
comes
basically get downloads. He would get downloads about the
from.
plant, and the plant would speak to him and
Yeah,
tell him what it does. What a gift, right?
basically,
And so he
yeah.
was
And
able to, and he got. I don't want to say disenchanted, but he changed from homeopathy to flower essences. I think homeopathy. It's like there's
yeah, he
so
was
many different remedies, thousands of them, and he's like, that's a lot. So he shifted to working with flower essences. So 38 is like, first there were 12, and then there's like segments that he unfolded or rolled out, so to speak. And so he has 38 of them that he
yeah.
basically said, this is enough. These all of these 38 offer us everything we need. But of course, people like to like expand, right? And so there's thousands of flower essences as well, North American, like you said, Australian. But these
Mhm.
38 though, if you want just to like go in all in on flower essences, just do the 38, the box original 38.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, he would just go and be with the flowers and he would learn about them. Like I think it was like impatience. He would sit and like study the impatience. And actually, impatience is good for people who are impatient. So, and he would actually like study that. And I've seen it work. Like I've used it with my kids before when they're being patient. I've used it for myself when it's like, that time before my cycle and I'm like, I'm just feeling a little bit more impatient right now with everybody. I'm like, oh, I'll just take some patience. And it's nice because like what I love about taking flower essences, and I'll say two things, is I've seen a lot of practitioners that are homeopaths over time shift into using flower essences because they support the aggravations that homeopathy can bring out,
Okay.
right? And help like
So
lighten
they're
that
very
load.
complementary.
Yeah, they can work beautifully together. And then I've also seen I forgot what I was going to say. They I see them shift to that a lot. Oh, and they're just so easy to take. You don't have to like take it away from food or brushing your teeth or anything. You could just take it anytime. It's no big deal. I have some right here. I'll take some now. This is my tree blend, right? I kind of shake it up a little bit, succuss it, take it out, mm, pop it in my mouth, done. I don't have to like worry about like there's no like rules with it. It's very simple. You can take as much as you want, take as little as you want, and when you don't need it anymore, you won't be as called to it. I've noticed too. Like I've had days where I'm like, I didn't take the flower essence blend that I made today. And I'm like, oh, I guess I just didn't need it, right? Like because your body's healing. Like you're not having like maybe you're an aspen and you're having these, fear of the unknown. Aspen is really good for like fears of the unknown, all these unknown fears. And you keep taking it, the aspen, because you need to like work on that. But all of a sudden, as that starts going away, you will forget to like take it because you just don't need it because it went away. Like so yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, it's pretty easy. Don't have to worry about mixing them or any
Yeah,
kind of contraindications with homeopathy or anything else, basically. So they're very gentle, very friendly, and as needed, just basically PRN as needed, you use them.
yep.
So they're
Yeah, and
they're so
sometimes like if you come to one of us, or you come to me or Heather, and I might say, take this every day, for the next 8 weeks or so. And then of course we reassess. But I think I've noticed sometimes people just move away from them when they just feel like they're good.
Mhm.
So it's very interesting.
Well, that helps us start to trust our bodies, that our body is knowing it registers the nourishment or the frequency that it needs in order to unlock whatever healing needs to happen. So,
Yeah.
mhm.
Yeah, so like what are flower essences? We've been talking about them for a little bit, and Heather said already they're vibrational medicine. They're vibrational remedies made from the energetic imprint of flowers, and they're they're not essential oils. You will not smell the pine smell. You will not smell any scent. There's no plant matter. There's no physical substance. They are just purely energetic, and they're really for working at the emotional level. But again, when you switch the emotional terrain, you will shift the physical terrain as well because they're entangled, right? So their purpose is to restore emotional balance, transform negative states, right, and move to the healthier state of that frequency and help us really to reconnect with our higher self, which is pretty cool. And they each hold a specific frequency or quality that harmonizes, a dissonant emotional state, right? If you're impatient, that's not the best emotional state. We can shift that, right?
Mhm.
So, yeah.
Yeah, and from what we've learned from many things, but especially the combination of all the people we've had on the podcast and our own personal experience and professionally, is that emotional, unprocessed emotion, let's put it that way, unmetabolized emotion will block you in some way. It's going to distort your field. It's going to prevent your body from having the flow of energy it needs. So this is actually really profoundly important to be able to attend to the emotional state that you're in order to help your body heal physically.
Yeah,
So,
I'm so huge. Yeah. I
mhm.
mean, I honestly think we've said it many times before, but any kind of chronic health issues that you're dealing with, I mean, they're very much rooted in the mental emotional, very, very much. And there's
Yeah.
some sort of emotional conflict or some sort of emotional trauma or suppressed emotions that are just continuing to perpetuate and keep you stuck in this, not in the cell danger response and not completing the healing cycle, I would say, right?
Mhm.
So,
Absolutely. So it's
yeah.
really imperative to find a way to do that. So flower essences are that tool or one of those tools. So Dr. Bach, he harnessed the vibrational energy of the flowers and or whatever the tree flowers are called, I don't know. But he would take the material, because I don't think they're called petals. He would take the material and then he would put it in water and then put it in sunlight for a period
Hmm.
of time, for several hours. So then what happens is the essence of the material is then transferred to water, because we know water is basically, right, it's going to absorb the imprint of the plant. And then it's just like Dr. Emoto's work, Veda Austin and so forth.
Yeah.
The water holds the memory of that essence of the vibrational energy of the plant. Then that energized water is usually preserved with brandy, sometimes vinegar, but mostly I say brandy. And then it's
Yeah.
diluted. Then that's your stock, right? And then you can take that and then make another essence out of it. And so this is purely energetic. There's no physical anything in there, just the water and the essence and the brandy. And
Yeah.
this happened a long time ago. Like Dr. Bach, as a British physician, homeopath, and bacteriologist, he lived from 1886 to 1936. So we're talking, this has been around for a while now. This is not brand new.
No. No, and there's been all kinds of like There's been therapists who exclusively used flower essences to help their clients. Like these things really do make a huge impact. And of course, I love the idea of how flower essences are made through this transfer of sunlight like that is beautiful to me. Like, I mean, I've never done that, but like I can't imagine how fun that would be. Like you're just transferring that energy of the sunlight and the flower petals, say if it was rose, right? They're in the spring water and it's just under the light of the sun, and then you're taking that energy, that energy's been transferred to the water, and then making, the alcohol is needed because it helps hold the essence, right? It holds the essence or the imprint, I guess, right?
Yeah, it's like a
But
fixative. Hmm.
yeah, so cool. I love that. I love that it's made with sunlight. I think that's so fun, and that's how he infused it. I mean, I think there's another method too, but that's like the main method.
Hmm.
Yeah. So we said before, Dr. Bach, Edward Bach, he was a British physician, homeopath, and bacteriologist, but he actually became disillusioned with conventional medicine, focusing on, of course, symptoms rather than cause. We all know that. We talk about that so much here. And he observed that emotional disharmony, like fear, worry, resentment, guilt, often preceded the physical illness. So he was like, oh, the emotional thing is happening before, right? So then he was like, he was seeking a gentler method and he turned to nature for guidance. And then between 1928 and 1935, he developed the 38 flower essences, each addressing a specific emotional or mental state. And his philosophy is treat the person, not the disease, which is, of course, similar to homeopathy. And he was a homeopath as well. And he was, like Heather mentioned before, he felt like there were so many remedies. It's just like, how do you figure it out? There's thousands and thousands of remedies, right? And Dr. Bach in today's day would be even more overwhelmed. I think he would need some elm because there's even more, there's even more remedies than there used to be. But
That's
yeah,
cool though,
yeah,
because homeopathy is evolving as humans evolve,
right.
and
Of
that's
course.
just natural. So we have the
Yeah.
tried and true, and then we have the avant-garde, so it's all good.
Yeah, and I think Heather and I, like, I know we talked about talking about this, Heather, that like we've been on this journey of like, learning the original classical homeopathy and sticking to that originally because that's what, we were taught is the like quote unquote right way to use homeopathy. And like the more that I've reached out and learned more and took more training, that a lot of homeopaths expand beyond that. And then they start using flower essences and tissue salts and other methodologies of homeopathy and realize that, oh, we can use it in many different ways. And, that's kind of the journey that we've been on of expanding our knowledge on how to use this medicine and how to support people, right? And I think that's really beautiful because it should evolve and it should shift. And we don't have to do things like we used to do 250 years ago because we're not the same people and in the same environment that we were 250 years ago, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Things are different now. So we need more support and more
Yeah.
expansive support. So I think it's all good. And I don't like to be sort of rigid about that. I mean, I want to obviously use what's tried and true and works, but we need options. So that's a really good thing. So with
Yeah.
flower essences, yeah, they're like catalysts. They're like vibrational catalysts. So they give your body the impetus to shift and transform all that stuck energy and move it through. So it's not about having any kind of like pushing or efforting. It's more of a gentle correcting of the imbalance, the energetic imbalance that's distorting your life force. Because as we
Hmm.
stated earlier, when your emotions are in harmony, the body's healing energy can flow. If they're in disharmony, it's like things are stuck. And I've seen it physiologically in people over and over and over. It's like, even tears, they get stuck right here, or they get stuck right here. And then there's just all this also cultural conditioning, sociocultural conditioning of shame and stigma around even just having emotions, which is really kind of a big problem because we're
Yes.
emotional
Huge,
beings. We're
huge
emotional
problem.
beings, and if we don't have a way to be validated and have outlets for our emotions through ritual, which we're severely lacking in Western society, then we just have just the bare minimum. It's not enough.
Yeah.
So the beauty about flower essences is that they don't suppress, they help bring awareness and integration and then release. So they're getting the emotions to flow. And it can be very subtle. Doesn't mean you're going to have a breakdown or some sort of like sob fest. Like it's just helping you to be with what needs to be seen and recognized, and whatever way you metabolize that is going to happen. But it's
Mm.
gentle. So Like
Very
mimulus can,
gentle.
right? Mimulus can be for fears and anxieties. Aspen, as Vanessa mentioned, for vague or unknown fears. Hornbeam for mental fatigue and procrastination. These are just some examples of the Bach, some of the Bach flower essences.
Hmm.
Star of Bethlehem. I'm actually using that one in one of my blends. I have like a 4 blend, I think it is, for just trauma integration is what I'm taking. So that one is for shock and trauma. Willow, Vanessa mentioned, for resentment and self pity. Sweet chestnut, despair, dark night of the soul. It's like whatever it is that you're experiencing, there's a Bach flower remedy for that.
Yeah, exactly. I take Star Bethlehem often too, and I think everybody could use it, but especially like tough days, like traumatic things that happen, I'll reach for that one. And I use it with actually yarrow and pink yarrow and Star of Bethlehem for like, I use it as, I call that my protection blend. I like use that when I feel like my energy needs some protection. And you take that, and I really feel like it helps. Like I took it when I went to a funeral. Sometimes I take it when before client sessions that I'm kind of not sure how that's going to be. Sometimes like Aspen with clients that I don't know how it's going to be like beforehand going in. And it's just an energetic support. I'm also taking, so I I was told I'm a tree. So I got a tree blend. So I'm taking willow like I mentioned, and I'm also taking did I mention I'm taking oak and elm. So elm is for like overwhelm, like feelings of overwhelm, which actually has been better also. And oak is for like the strong, sturdy one who's always there for everybody else. Like, and they're very rigid, and there's not like that kind of situation. And I'm also taking red chestnut for um red chestnut is different than sweet chestnut. It's for like fears or worries about your family or like people you love. Like it's we worry about everybody else, right? So I'm missing one. A willow, oak, elm, sweet chestnut. No, red chestnut. There's another one in there, and I can't remember it right now. It just slipped my mind, but there's another tree in there. It'll come to me. But anyway, that's what I'm taking right now. So yeah, and I do really like them. So the emotions and its influence on the physical body. I mean, we talk about this all the time, and Dr. Bach observed it, that modern energy medicine confirms it, and that the emotional body is the bridge between our minds and our physical body, right? They're connected. It's completely linked. And when the emotions are suppressed or denied or chronically distorted, they disrupt the flow of energy through the subtle field. So over time, this emotional disharmony seeps downward into the etheric and the physical level, eventually manifesting as symptomology, fatigue, pain, inflammation, chronic illness, right? So we have to realize that these emotional holding patterns are going to manifest physically within us, right? So we can think of it as like a cascade, like the higher self holds the blueprint of health and purpose. We resist that fear and guidance, and the mental body forms rigid thought patterns. The patterns generate emotional frequencies, fear, guilt, resentment, grief, and none of them are bad. We just have to alchemize and transmute them. It's not bad to have these feelings or emotions. We don't want ever you to think that. But if we are unprocessing these frequencies in print and leave like an etheric template and the energy matrix that organizes physical matter. So finally the physical body mirrors the distortion as tension, inflammation, disease. And so healing the body often begins with rebalancing the emotional field, restoring flow, acceptance, and coherence between what we feel and who we truly are. And that's what flower essence can help bring back to, like who you truly are. And of course, homeopathy does it too. It's just sometimes, like when you come to me for a session and it's an initial session, I'm likely going to give a homeopathic, but sometimes I give flower essences. Sometimes I give both. Sometimes, it just depends on the case, right? Of what I see that the person needs.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So the flower essences, as far as in the, if you want to call it mechanism of action, I don't like that phrase, but it's like, well, how does this actually happen? How are they really coming into play here and effecting change? We could think of the energetic layers of our being, right? The spiritual body, the mental, the emotional, astral, the etheric body, and the physical body. And so the flower essences really are coming in. The main place they work is the emotional astral body. They can affect other layers, of course, but the main place
Yeah.
that they're impacting change is in the emotional and astral body. It's like that's our field where the feelings and the mood are, and most imbalance originates there, like Vanessa was saying. So
Yeah.
They help to transform fear into courage, like mimulus, or grief to peace, or Bethlehem, resentment to forgiveness. So they're helping the things to move along. And what would be the opposite of that? So it's helping catalyze into moving through to completion the emotional process. That's how I look at it anyway.
Yeah, that's a beautiful way you said it. I love that. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, homeopathic remedies, they act primarily on the vital force, right? Organizing intelligence of life. Flower essences work actually a bit of a step higher than that, harmonizing the emotional, mental, and vibrations that inform the vital force itself. So they're actually working a little bit higher than homeopathics. I actually saw this when we Heather and I took a training from Dr. Sophia actually on flower essences, and she prompted me to get this book. I think it's called Vibrational Medicine. And I'd show it to you, but it's upstairs. And she took an image from this book and she was showing where homeopathy lands on the body and where flower essences land. And I was like, wait a minute. You're telling me that flower essences actually act deeper on the body than homeopathy?
Was that
And they
hard for you
create
to read, Vanessa?
it was. I was like
What?
I was in shock actually. And it was like, but it was like an eye opener of like this is something that we have to use, right? And this is something that we can actually change, big time in a person's field. Like it's
Sounds like that
energy that
was
we
a
can.
catalyst for you reading that, and then you really were starting to embrace flower essences more after that.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. No, I was. Yeah, yeah. Uh-huh. Yeah, and I think, the deeper the patterning, the more we need to use that flower essence, right? So for
Mm-hmm.
me, like oak and elm, that'd probably be something I need for a really long time. Like, because I have this deep pattern of like I'm always overwhelmed and I'm always like there for everybody else. And like this is deep stuff. Like, like I've always been the tree. I've always been the one who's there for everybody. Right. So I need to like it's gonna take some time, probably like for it to like it's not gonna I don't want anybody to think like I mean sometimes it does. Like sometimes you could take one dose and it's like, oh, like you could take a dose of larch and you're like, I feel more confident. Like I feel more able to like, be in my space, right? But when it's deeper patterning, you do need to probably take it for a period of time to really move it. But yeah, that was such a like a pivotal little like, whoa, I did not know that. Like, and I just was like, that's pretty impressive because I thought nothing was more powerful than homeopathy. But I'm like, these are more gentle, but more powerful. And there's no aggravations. I mean, what is the harm of using them? You don't, it's just, I just, yeah, it's a great thing.
They're
So,
just tuning your body, just like an orchestra, like something. One of
yeah,
the fiddle, one of the violin players is out of balance or out of tune rather. So that's
yeah,
going to reverberate into the whole. Like you're going to hear that, right? And so even if everything else is good, that one mismatch or vibrational, like poor frequency, is going to have a ripple effect. So we have to get everything in tune. So it's going to attend to whatever that specific block is and tune that up, so to speak. So
yeah,
absolutely.
I love that. Everything can work in harmony again. The emotions, will be calm, spirits will be lifted, right? And the melody can play in the way that it was supposed to. Like, that's a really great one.
Hmm.
So they're really simple to use, flower essences, just so you guys know if you decide to get one or try one or look one up and you're like, I want to try this, you can take them internally in water or even sip throughout the day. Like this morning, I have a blend for my son. It has aspen and mimulus because he can be kind of anxious. It has larch for confidence. And it has impatience because he can be super impatient. So I just in the morning when I send him to school and I fill up his water bottle, and I structure the water and I also put in some tissue salts and all that. I'll just put in a couple drops of the flower essence and he's on his way it's okay. It's okay. It can doesn't matter like if he ate some food or if he just brushed his teeth or whatever, like it's gonna do its thing. So you can take it like I did, like take it on a dropper, like right in your mouth, or you can just like put it in water and sip it throughout the day. Like that's another way to do it. But you can also put it on like pulse points in your body, and people who are more sensitive, this is nice. I mean, I haven't seen flower essences make an aggravation. They're not supposed to, but if you're really sensitive, you could use like your wrists, like a pulse point, like your wrist. You could use like here, like on your neck, or like behind your ears, or anything like that. You're like right here, and your collarbones would be another spot I would think of. So anyway, any of those would be okay as
I took,
well.
when I first took flower essences, sorry to interrupt you,
Yeah, it's
because
okay.
this is leading into our next point here, is that I literally, I think it was 1990. three or two. I took the Bach Flowers Rescue Remedy. That's like
Yep.
what most people might be familiar with, and that's a combination, I think, of five. It's like one of the trauma
It
type
definitely
remedies.
has Star of
Yeah,
Bethlehem.
yeah.
It definitely has that, but I don't remember what else is in it. Maybe Rock Rose, because
Rock
that's like
Rose, it's Rock
yeah,
Rose, Star of
yeah,
Bethlehem.
because
Yeah,
Rock Rose is good for like fear and panic, right?
right. So that's
Um,
what most people might be familiar with, and it's great to have on hand, but you can go so much further than that.
oh yeah, yeah,
Like you can even use it as needed, so PRN or as needed. So before a stressful event or exam, obviously for grief and overwhelm and that kind of thing. And transitions are so hard on us. I think we super underestimate just how taxing transitions of anything, even if it's something you're positively anticipating, it's still a lot of energy output. So I'm always like,
walnut. Walnut is very good for transitions.
yeah, yeah,
Hmm.
I'm always educating clients about that because they're like, why is it so hard? Because it
Yeah,
is, it's taxing. It takes a lot of energy.
yeah,
So definitely changes and transitions for just for daily grounding and daily kind of centering, it can be
yeah.
super important. So, and again, like Vanessa said, you can use them with homeopathy without issue. There's no problem. It's a beautiful complementary two systems working together synergistically. And like Vanessa was saying, like homeopathy acts on the vital force to shift chronic patterns, and then flower essences combined will help to with the harmonizing of the emotional field and that specific layer of frequencies. And it's very subtle, but it helps to clear that resistance and supports the integration after a homeopathic remedy. So they don't interfere with each other. They're actually very complementary.
Yeah, very complementary. They're synergistic modalities. And an example is like somebody who's taking carcinosin, right? Which is good for like the people pleasing and the poor boundaries and all of that, right? Pine, and it also has a lot of guilt. Pine also is good for guilt, right? So that's like nice to have, in there. And then like Star of Beth, like carcinosin is really good for trauma, but so is Star of Bethlehem. So it's a nice support, right? And like olive, carcinosin happens to be really good for chronic fatigue, right? But olive is also really good for like people who are like really, really physically depleted, actually. Or they're like emotionally and physically drained, like olive, right?
Mm-hmm.
So they'll help together. So like if you're like, oh, I know this person is this homeopathic remedy, and you're like, come in. What are the flower essences I can give to support also that energetic distortion that you're seeing? Because that's all, to me, that's all illness is. There is an energetic distortion. That's it. Like, I hate the word disease. I hate the word label. I hate the word diagnosis because it's just an energetic distortion in your field. And how do we bring that back to balance and harmony is what we're looking for. And actually, in my homeopathy for astrology course, she has given us like certain flower essences based on your astrological signs. And of course, it's way bigger than your sun. Like I was saying, I happen to be a Scorpio sun. I don't resonate with Scorpio that much. I feel so much more resonate in the Libra area of like that Libra ascending, which is so interesting. I mean, of course, I have some Scorpio tendencies, but yeah, it's just we have I think healing is that spiral. We talked about that with the Fibonacci and the spiraling, and maybe at some times in my life, or maybe it has to do with the planetary alignment that's going on. Like maybe I felt more Scorpio aligned, and now it's like I'm more this Libra Aquarius alignment that I'm seeing or in my field. So it depends on where you're at, and it will spiral probably back and in and around of all of those things. But anyway, that's like a whole nother ball game. But I'm very much into it because I'm taking a course on astrology. So it's like it's forward front in my mind when I'm talking
So
today.
podcasts incoming on astrology
Yeah,
and
definitely. I
homeopathy.
can't wait. I
We
cannot
will do
wait.
it. I'll try to keep up with you. I registered too late, or I was trying to register, so I kind of didn't get in.
Oh,
So
no, it's
Vanessa's,
all
I'm just
good.
learning through osmosis here. But
I will
to
teach
think,
you what I know.
thank you, thank you.
Yeah.
So, but thinking about our modern day context, which is really quite interesting how energetically we're vibrating at a very frenetic level. I see it, and everything is fast, rush, hurry.
Oh, yeah.
There's not enough time. There's this very much a high tension state that we're always in. And forget about just being like that's what people used to have more time for. Like crops are done, we're buttoned down for the winter, now we get to really do some resting and so forth. No, it's like we're just going all the time, all day. And so there's this epidemic of all kinds of diseases and sleep issues and whatnot. So flower essences really, I think, are actually really essential. That's funny. Critically important, essential to help with all of that overstimulation. Because also, when you're in such a frenetic state, there is no room or space to process your inner world, to be with what is inside of you, which is absolutely imperative for us to be able to metabolize our experiences. So what happens is you're accumulating unprocessed emotions and like sensations in your body. All of that is just, there's no way for anything to move through to completion because you can't be. It's like, I'm not productive. I got stuff to do, and then so how is your
Take some
body
oak if you're that kind of person.
how is your body supposed to be able to clear out things? You're not just clearing out food you eat, you're clearing out energy. You
Oh
need to
yeah.
be able to do that. So, flower essences really help to counteract or temper, if you will, mitigate the overstimulation, emotional avoidance, and suppression, and to slow down and first reconnect with ourselves, and then we
Love
can
that.
reconnect in the world in more meaningful ways and mindfulness. So,
Yeah, 100%. Because
healing is an inside job. It's not like only going outside. So flower essences are supporting us to heal from within by making contact with what matters to us and then being with that process of how we can be more aligned with our soul's purpose of what matters the most to us and our values and so forth. So we need to have awareness first that there's stuff that needs to be attending to, and flower essences help to dial that in and
I
being
love
in
that.
more of alignment. Yeah. So that's what Dr. Bach's vision was, is health is our heritage. It's our right as the complete and full union of soul, body, and mind. So we are disconnected, we're fragmented. And so that creates those energetic blocks and out of tune frequencies. And flower essences are helping to get that all right in alignment. It's really, really important.
Yeah, I had made a video about this on my YouTube channel a little while ago, and it was like kind of like we're all working around with this like big heavy backpack and we don't even realize it. And it's like we're so dogged down and heavy from it, and it's dragging us down, and it's all of the emotional suppression, emotional pain, emotional trauma. And that backpack's not only filled with stuff from us, but also from our lineage as well. And we're born with that backpack. And then we just add to the backpack as we go. And we're so busy and we're so doing and we're so being overproductive all the time that we're never really processing all of those things. And if you are that person, oak is a good one for you. But you just they're such an invitation with these things. And I loved everything you said. And it's just so easy to use. They're so safe for literally all ages, pets, plants, no aggravations, no provings. Anybody can use them. It's like almost like why wouldn't you use them? Like I can't even think of a reason why you wouldn't. Because you're just going to metabolize that energy and move it through you, like you said, because we think of digestion as we have to digest food, but we also, like you just said, we digest emotions. And sometimes you have constipation because you're not emotionally able to let go or release and you're not digesting things. Like if there's other reasons. It's not just always about the food or the environment that you're in. It's also about the emotional body, right?
Mm-hmm.
So,
One thing
yeah.
I love as a pet owner, and you are too, is that these are really, really good to use with your pets.
Yeah.
Like homeopathy as well, of course. But so I will be giving my dog, who's a little needing cleaning, so still he's a rescue. I haven't had him a year yet, but
Did you give him Star? Have you given him Star,
no,
Bethlehem?
I haven't given anything because we just had a little crisis
Right,
moment.
that's
So
right.
I
Yep.
still need to get back on track. So we'll get him set up. I have all 38 Bach flower essences, so we'll get him squared away.
You are set to go. And the thing is, like with Heather and I, we know how to make we can make our own custom blends for you, which is something that I'm doing. When you book an initial session with me, you have two options if you want to work with me for flower essence consultation. So I can help you gravitate or help you find the ones that, because sometimes like I would not have picked willow for myself. Because I'm like, maybe it's my ego being like, I don't have any resentment. Like, that's not me, even though I love the willow tree, right? Like, so you just like, sometimes it's good to have an outside, I mean, I think it is good to have an outside perspective and be like, yeah, you paused on that resentment piece. So we're gonna address that, like, so, because you're not gonna see that in yourself, right? So we don't always see ourselves like an outsider does. So we can glean information, right, that maybe you didn't about yourself. So of course you can always try what resonates. But on my website, what you can do is if you book in an initial homeopathy session, if I think flower essences are indicated, I will provide them, right? You can also book in a separate flower essence consult. Say you're not ready for homeopathy. You want something a bit more gentle, a bit more on the emotional plane only. You don't want homeopathy. Maybe you're worried about aggravations or things like that. Maybe you think you're very sensitive. Like if you're, just go in for flower essences. It's a step in the door, right? To learn like using energy medicine. So you can book in just a flower essence consult as well. And I am making custom remedies for people, flower essences. So I will put that together for you. I can do it in with alcohol or with glycerin if you're alcohol sensitive, and I make that for you and I send it out for you if you're within the United States. I'm not shipping out of the United States right now. But yeah, I can make you an essence and send it your way, and I'll have a custom blend for you because it's nice to have a custom blend because I've got six essences in my blend, right? I don't want to taking six things, like have it all together in one is much easier, right? I mean, there is the benefit of being like, I feel like I have fear of the unknown and just grabbing aspen, but your body's going to pick what it needs. So, like, my point is, on my flower essence tree blend has oak and willow and pine and, aspen and like whatever it has in it, right? The body's going to pick what it needs in that moment, right? It doesn't matter. Like, if it has extra,
It's
it's no
going
big
to
deal.
resonate and draw in the essence. It doesn't matter if the other ones aren't necessarily needed at that moment, you're saying. Yeah.
Exactly. So you don't have to worry about like, oh, I didn't need red chestnut, but I got a dose of it. Like it's fine. It's not going to harm you.
Yeah, no harm. It's totally fine.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
anyway, so you can book in with me if you'd like. And how about you, Heather?
Yeah, same, same. Flower essence consult. Absolutely.
Yeah. Cool.
We're going to put the links to our sessions in the show notes, you guys.
Yes, absolutely. We'd love to help you and support you because, again, you shift the emotional terrain. I want people to get this. You shift the emotional terrain, you shift the physical because everybody wants the physical things to shift, but we've got to
Kind
shift
of
the mental.
backwards. We need to attend to the emotional terrain first, the emotional status. Where are you at with that? And the body's telling you.
Yeah,
Its symptoms are reflective of what kind of emotional quagmire you're dealing with here. So flower essences helps
totally.
to untangle that and then again process
Yeah.
through the completion. That's what we need. And it's like an ongoing process. It's not like, okay, we're done. So flower essences can be used lifelong with no issue. In fact, that's what I'll be doing. So
Yeah. And actually, even like the course that I'm taking, the homeopathy for astrology course, like I said with Liz Norman, she was a homeopath and she said to us like she's like, I primarily use flower essences and tissue salts now. Flower essences for the mental emotional, tissue salts for the physical things that need a little bit of support, not to shift them completely, but to support them as we're moving through. And she
mhm.
goes, I make the most traction that way. I'm like,
Wow, there you
I
go.
mean, it's just like, I don't know. And everybody's going to respond to things differently, right? But it's interesting. I like all this. I just love it all. I
I
love the
can
tools
tell.
and the options and all of it. It's so fun. So
I
anyway,
love your passion. Yes.
yeah,
Yeah.
thanks. Yeah, yours too. All right, guys. Well, we hope you enjoyed this one. Thanks so much for tuning in. And please remember to like rate and review and like support the podcast. Written reviews are so important and all of that. We really appreciate it. And the links will be in the notes if you guys want to book in for a consult with us.
Yeah, we'll look forward to seeing you next time. Bye.